Hey guys, it's Bethany Finch, and it's Win Wednesday, Win Wednesday, Win Wednesday. Oh yeah, we're looking forward, excited to have and celebrate Win Wednesday with you. This Win Wednesday, we're talking about marketing, but nobody understands the real meaning of marketing. Too many times we draw a conclusion in our head of what marketing is, and we think it just means advertisement. But truly, that's not what the word marketing actually means. Let me give you an example. Marketing is simply making something known to somebody else. So that could be anything. It could be a product, a service, a person, a place, a thing. I could be telling so and so about a great restaurant that I went to last week. And what am I doing? I'm marketing that restaurant. But you say, no, I just was telling them what a great time I had. But you told them where you were, right? So many times people are so busy in their own lives doing their own things that they forget this idea of marketing. And social media has made it a lot easier and more doable, or accessible maybe is the better word, for us to do that and to let others know what we're doing. But even that still isn't enough, because now the social media is just so overrun, and so things don't get seen, or it just gets pushed aside, or now with the whole censoring thing that's been going on. So marketing is just getting and telling others what's going on. So this Win Wednesday, we wanted to celebrate with you guys and share some of the things that are going on with American Made Home Solutions. One of the things that's going on with American Made Home Solutions is we have been systematically, or strategically might be the better word, liquidating our properties that we have held in Washington State. Why do you say that, you say? Well, we have a plan, and we've always had a plan, but we don't always communicate that plan to others. So for instance, if you understand a market, the best time to buy in a market is low, and then when you want to plan to sell high, right? So the markets that we are in Washington, we did just that. We recognized these are key points in their markets. We bought really well, and now they're at very high points in the market, and it makes sense for us to liquidate. It also makes sense for us to liquidate for political reasons. As landlords, we take a great interest in the politics of a state, and how it works against business or for business, things of that nature. And in doing so, we also need to recognize the direction that it is going, because that can heavily affect future profitability, marketability, restraints, things like that. And so in our aspects, it made sense for us to go, okay, well, we're already in these other markets that are much more landlord friendly, and they're still in a different cycle, so let's focus on those. And that's exactly what we've done. In doing so, one of those properties was actually our primary residence as well. Now, many of you guys don't know that we purchased our primary residence kind of at the top of a cycle, because we didn't necessarily know that whole cycle process, and didn't understand. And sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So one of the things that we recognized after the fact, we bought it in 05, and then you all know what happened in 08. So we bought pretty close to the very tip top of that market, and then it crashed, and we ended up being completely upside down in it. But when it's a primary, you have the opportunity there to make different choices, which is what we did. So we just continued to live in it and do things along the way, knowing that the time would come when it would continue to appreciate and do well, because the market, again, was rebounding and doing well. And it did just that. So at one point, our house equity went upside down 100,000. That's how deep the market got here. And now it's the complete exact opposite of that. So again, recognizing those market cycles and where we're at and what our family's goals are. You don't always stop to think about things in light of a big long-term plan. When we bought into this house, we scraped every penny we could to get in, and then kept scraping to stay in, going through '08 when all of our friends were short selling and getting out and this and that. Trust me, it was very tempting to do exactly that. But Kurt had made a decision and made a commitment, and we said, no, we're the ones that made that note to the bank, and we're going to honor it. We're going to do whatever we can. And we did. We just knuckled down and kept knuckling down and tighten those belts so that we could continue to meet the promises that we had made, which was to pay the bank the same amount that we had agreed to pay. Obviously, nobody was refinancing at that point because it didn't make sense. So in doing so, we recognized that our children were young, and there was a season of our kids' life, and we wanted to be able to be in a home and be stationary. With our industry and the line of work, we had moved so much prior to that. We really wanted some stability with that, and that's exactly what it did, and it provided. Our youngest one actually doesn't even really remember any other place, and our oldest one still remembers those other places, but he grew up here, and so there's a lot of emotional attachment and whatnot, and that's always hard. So as I look around at the way and the things I've done and the decoration, sure, it pulls on my heartstrings, and I would love to be able to keep it and be here forever and all of that, but we bought it for a different reason. We bought it to meet our family's need at the time and for that season of time. And as that season has moved on, our children are older now, moving into their own places and not even visiting anymore, and they're quite a ways out from grandchildren, so we know that that will take some time. We are now able to focus and look back and go, okay, so what was the next phase, right? And so when we look at that, we don't always stop to realize that marketing is simply telling others. And one of the things that Kurt has always wanted to do is to be able to travel not by plane. So he hates flying, absolutely hates it. And in doing so, he's actually always wanted to have an RV and travel around, but he didn't want to be so old that he couldn't afford it. He didn't want to be so old and busted up that he couldn't enjoy the travel. He didn't want to be so old that he would hate it. He wanted to be able to enjoy it and have that adventure. And so when we stopped and looked at it, we said, I'd like to have a place again when the kids start having kids and grandkids, and I want them to have a place to come to, so maybe now's the time. And so that's exactly what we're doing. We're taking some time. We have some great inspirations from family members who've done some of the same things, and have just taken time to do a different goal for them and their family, and spent time traveling around Europe and going over to Israel and different things like this. And so we're meeting that goal, and we're going to take some time to do that and enjoy it, but be more intentional about it. Because one of the other goals that we often do is we work with Samaritan's Purse and different charity organizations. And so we're looking forward to going out and being a blessing and being able to help out in whatever capacity we can with the hurricane victims. So with that being said, we want to be a blessing, but we can't if we're encumbered and worried about things. So keeping that in mind, we thought, well, why not sell everything? Why not literally, our daughter did it, why couldn't we, right? So again, she just explained what she was doing, right? She says, Mom, I'm moving to Hawaii. What do I need all this stuff for? I'm just going to do it. And she just did it. So the more we thought about it, the more we realized that what's more important to us is looking forward and not necessarily looking back. So one of the things we wanted to do was literally market that, communicate that, and letting you guys know as we continue to look forward, we continue to grow, not just as individuals, not just as a family, not just as a community. And that doesn't necessarily happen unless we're marketing, right? Unless we're telling people, unless somebody is sharing this video, unless somebody is telling another person about what they're doing for their investment strategies. So one of the things that you guys may or may not be aware of is that we do invest in other states and other markets. We also have done multifamily for 25 plus years. Many people don't think of us that way because the majority of information that has been put out in the last few years has been based on our single family division and not on our multifamily division. So a lot of people don't necessarily know that. So we took this opportunity and we figured we're going to tell you guys, just like we're telling everybody else, and letting you know that what we're doing is continuing to move forward in the strategies, and with that mindset, recognizing that we live where we want to live. We love Washington State. We love the Pacific Northwest, but we invest where it makes sense. So we want to continue to do that, and looking at the markets and recognizing things and strategizing and moving forward in that means it looks different than it does for everybody else. And we hope that's the case for you as well. So we'd love for you to share this and share what's going on in your world. Share what's new and exciting. Many times we start out in business or in ventures. Oftentimes, how many college students have gone to get a degree and they're not even working in that field? I mean, that's kind of a good illustration of that. We start out on one path and we oftentimes realize it's easier to figure out what we don't want than it is to accept or figure out what we do want sometimes. And so when we go along through this journey of life, we need to be in communication with others, and we need to recognize that. So I would love to encourage you and to celebrate with you what's new and exciting in your world. And maybe it's old and boring in your mind, but it's new and exciting to me. Because of COVID, many of us haven't caught up with each other. We're not getting together for game nights like we used to. We're not meeting up for dinner or fellowshipping after church. Things have changed, right? So share with us. Drop a note below. Let us know what's going on in your world. Are you, as a business owner, what are you doing? What are you looking forward to 2021? How's the last quarter of 2020 looking for you? As an individual, how are you doing on your retirement goals? Where are you at with it? Did you lose a lot in the stock markets with everything that happened this year? Are you looking to redeploy or make some different changes on stability, different things? Maybe you're looking at, you've had some health changes in this last year. I know people that have lost loved ones and things have changed. So now they're looking at having to do things differently. Many people don't realize the need to have more than just a will and to potentially set up a trust or things like this. And so sharing this, talking things out, we learn, hey, I didn't realize Bethany and Kurt set up a trust. Hey, I didn't realize this. I didn't realize this. And then we start talking and having those conversations. So let's have a conversation this Win Wednesday. Let's celebrate what's going on in your life, and tell me this. One thing you're excited about that you're looking forward to, one thing that you're sticking to that you learned from 2020, and one thing that you're thankful for that maybe it's done or it's in the past or it was a season that ended. So 3 things. Put those down, drop them in the comment box below, and let's communicate. Let's hear and market to one another what's going on in each other's lives, and re-engage. As this quarter we look to wrap up, let's re-engage with one another and see and look at 2020 with new eyes, but eyes that are looking to the future and looking to continue to stabilize and grow. Until then, have a great Win Wednesday. I look forward to seeing your comments below, so make sure that you put them and make sure that you share them, because many times we don't always see each other's feeds, right? But if we share, then the algorithm works and then they turn around and they boost it up more, things of that. So make sure you share this video as well, or check us out on our YouTube channel and share that so that people have the opportunity. We'd love to hear what's going on. Let's do some free marketing, right? Let's talk to one another and have those conversations. Until next Wednesday, have a great week. Bye for now.